Hey everybody, my name is Matt Mullen. You made it. So this is Email Kickstart Mastermind, session number 1 of 6. Every single one of them is going to be equally awesome. So you're going to want to join me for all of them. I've got a lot to share. We're going to basically pack in a personal coaching that I do. We're going to pack in a course that I have, and all of that is right here in one thingy, 1 6-session mastermind. By the time we're done, the idea is that you'll have a sparkly new email system, gathering new subscribers faster than ever before, sending emails that get opened and clicked, and people who have, that want to know all of your stuff, they'll know how to get it. And people only want a little bit of your stuff, they'll know how to get it. So I'm going to share all that with you. But this is my family. I live in Arizona with these people. Well, some of them. My son there on the right, he got married in April. He lives in Utah with his bride. My daughter on the far left, she's getting married in September. We'll be moving to California with her husband. Crazy. And then the one next to me, she just graduated from high school and she's dating somebody too, seriously. So it's weird. It is a weird stage of life. But anyway, they're awesome. Why do I talk about email? Well, I've been doing email for the last, 25 years or so as I've worked in small business. The most recent example that I like to point to is that prior to doing this full time, I was working as the chief marketing officer for a Daily Deal website. I worked there for almost a decade. And the Daily Deal types of sites, the Groupon clones. Well, we had one, and it was a bootstrapped situation, little company. We didn't have any marketing budget to speak of. So I had to learn very quickly the power of email marketing. And from the first year on, we did $10 million minimum in email sales that I could attribute directly to our sales every single year. Now, that may be small potatoes for some of you, but for this small company, this was a big deal, and this was our way of growth. So then my wife and I created a little side hustle, kind of a fun thing that we do. It's not our core business, but we created a Disney website, and we launched in September of 2016, and 2 years later, from registering the domain name, we had 40,000 email subscribers. I think that the people on this call can appreciate the hard work that it is to get a site up and running, let alone getting email subscribers. And I did this using techniques that I'm going to share with you. So I hope that it'll be helpful to you as it was for me. And in fact, what I've done over the last 4 years is I've been working with some of the most awesomest content creators out there, people who have fantastic blogs, social media presence, YouTubers, you name it. And so I've had a chance to work with them to help them grow their lists. And not just with Visa gift card giveaways, folks. We're talking about stuff that actually attracts the right type of audience for you. So that's what we're going to be talking about in the course of the next few sessions. And today, in particular, we're going to dive right in with my favorite growth tactic. But before we get there, well, housekeeping stuff. You know the drill. Mute when you're on the Zoom call. It can be embarrassing otherwise. Little kids walk in and say embarrassing things about biological things, and it's a lot of fun that happens. So mute, but do ask questions. Oh my goodness, this is the lifeblood of these things. So down in the chat, I'm going to be watching that a lot, and Brenda will be too. Brenda's in charge of making sure that I answer every one of your questions, even though I won't want to. I will not want to answer your questions that put me on the spot and make me feel less than. No, I'm going to do my darndest to answer every single one of them. Brenda, you're in charge of making sure I do. Okay. Now, on top of this, I've been doing this for a while. And you signed up because you wanted a different outcome for your email. Otherwise, why would you have joined me here? You're hopeful that I've got something for you. Well, I've been doing this for a while, and I've been doing this mastermind for a while. And I can tell you, those people that commit to it, meaning they come to each session and they do the bite-sized homework that I will be providing. I literally try to make this bite-sized chunks because I know you're busy, very busy and important people that have summers and lives and whatever. So I want to make this work for you. So do that. And if you can't make every live session, I will be posting the recording on the day of, unless of course, Jake forgets to tell me. And again, once again, it's his fault. So I'm going to be posting those in the Facebook group. If you don't do Facebook, that's fine. Just email me and tell me, and I'll make sure you get it. Okay. All right. Keep up. That's what I'm saying. That's my rah-rah. Keep up. Do the work. Boom. Life changing, or hopefully change a little bit of your life. I'm not overselling anything, am I? Okay. The other thing is that AdThrive, as part of this mastermind, they're also providing you with free access to my course. It's a $500 course. Do you need it? Yeah. It's a nice resource. We can't cover everything during these sessions. And so you can get a lot done without the course's help, but I highly suggest you go grab it because it's got everything broken down into the what's and the how to do it in little video modules that are short and easy to consume. And it'll be there after we're done doing this mastermind stuff. So if you have not done so yet, use this link. I'm going to drop this into the chat. Somebody go test this, by the way. I set up the coupon code this morning. Somebody go test it and make sure it works for me and come back and report. But Kickstart July 2022. I'm not going to mention this too many times. So write this down. Yeah, and either just do it now or write it down to do it a little bit later. Additionally, if you've not done so, please join the Facebook group. I highly suggest that you turn it on for auto updates. Why? Well, I have during the course of these sessions, I'm going to be posting the replays. I'm going to be posting notes. I'm going to be posting, requests. Kate's going to go in there and she's going to post her stuff, and Riley's going to go read everybody's stuff and give his feedback. It's fantastic. So everybody join if you can, and turn on the thing if you can figure out how to turn it on so it gives you all the updates. That's the most useful for this, at least for the time being that we're doing this session, and then turn it off. Whew, okay, let's get to work. All right. The money's in the list. Perhaps you've heard me or somebody else say that before. We're going to talk for very briefly about why you need to build your list. I don't think I need to sell you on it too hard because otherwise you probably wouldn't be here. But a couple of things that I want to just point out. First of all, the obvious one that I think everybody knows is that we don't control Lord Google, Lord Pinterest, Lord Zuckerberg, the ways that they give us, they bless us with their traffic, right? We don't control that. In fact, things change. If you've been around long enough, it's changed 50 times for you already in the ups and downs of getting traffic. So having the ability to communicate with your list is fantastic. Little story here. March of 2020, everything was marching along just swimmingly for my Disney cruise stuff until March 15th, 2020. And magically, gone. All of our traffic, all of it. There were no more Pinterest searches. There were no more Google searches for Disney cruises. I think you can figure out why if you remember what was happening in March of 2020. Now, there is an exception to that. There was one search for Disney cruise cancellations. We did get a lot on that. Now, guess what else happened? 0 RPMs almost. I'm exaggerating slightly, but not much. There were no advertising, people weren't advertising for that stuff going on at that time. So our traffic disappeared overnight. So what's a side hustle blog to do? Well, we created Disney at home content and we put it out there. And we hustled and we got some stuff. It's not our specialty, but we hustled. And our AdThrive revenue for March ended up equaling our AdThrive revenue for February. Why? Because I was able to drive traffic back to our website thanks to our email list. That was a massive save for us. And look, that's one little example. Will that ever happen to you? Of course not. This world's not changing. Digital marketing landscape doesn't change every 5 minutes. That never happens, right? So own your list. This allows you to engender engagement. I think email is a fantastic way to communicate with somebody from a perspective of, hey, it's fairly intimate. You know that if you send an email, it's highly likely it's going to get in front of them. And then that person has the ability to hit reply, and it's highly likely that it's going to get in front of you. There aren't very many marketing media that do that. And email is great for building that true engagement. And I'm going to explain why a little bit more. And ultimately, why would we do that? To build a brand. All right. All y'all, look, let's be real here. Anybody can compete with you and I living anywhere in the world that has a Chrome laptop and a Wi-Fi connection. All right. So how are you different? Because you rank #1 for something on Google, well, congratulations. Does that mean you have a brand? No, it means you have good SEO right now. So how do we use email to build a brand? We can communicate why we're special. We can, on a regular basis, solve our readers' problems over and over and over again. That's brand building, because then you go from being a Google search to being somebody that they care about, that they know is a subject matter expert. That is ultimately how we create super fans, not through a Google search. This is how we have people that open and click, that buy our stuff, that tell their friends. All right, these are the super fans that we're trying to build. All right, email is a great way to do all of that. So you joined this mastermind because you have been struggling with something. And these I'm using, one of the things that AdThrive had in that forum was, what's your biggest struggle with email marketing? And these are the things that some of you all said to me. So this is the audience participation part of our program. If this is you, will you in the chat chime in somehow, like amen, or yeah, that's me, or oh man, that stinks, or that kind of thing? How many of you struggling to get new subscribers to your list? You're not growing as fast as you want. I'm going to pause for a second because I think there's one or two of you that have this issue, and I need a drink of this fancy water, LaCroix. It's French, I think, imported straight from France, I believe. Somebody who's on the call from France can tell me. That is bonjour, no good. All right, not fast enough, not as fast as you think you could. Okay, always could use more. Yes, all right, amen, thank you. All right, some of you are sick of this. You've got email, you've got an email cost, and you're sending emails and people aren't opening the emails. Anybody struggling with that one? Maybe one or two of you. All right, how about this one? Somebody told me that they were having a hard time coming up with exclusive content for their newsletter. And I feel like they have to give something special to this group, okay? That seems to be an issue. Or just, my goodness, management, time management for all y'all. I mean, you've got to do search, you got to do keyword research, you got to do the writing of the content, the videos, the photos, the Pinterest tailwind thingies, the social media, on and on and on. It never ends. And then who's got time to manage emails on top of all that? Tom feels me there. All right. What about this? Maybe you're trying to sell something and your campaigns aren't actually converting for sales. Some of you are like, well, how the heck do you even make money with email? We're going to dedicate an entire session to that. Our very last session, session number 6. I'm going to take a 3-hour mastermind. I'm going to put it into 1 hour, and I'm going to just fire hose, give you every idea that I can think of. All right. There's things that I've done and things I've seen my clients do, and so on. And then last but not least, some of you said this: I have no strategy at all. Do I have any sad cats out there? I know there's one of you. So if you're a sad cat, I feel you. We're going to talk about that. So I'll be a sad cat. All right, let's try to turn that frown upside down, shall we? All right, Gary the cat wants us to do that. My strategy is take your course every 2 years. Great, that's a good strategy. Thank you for that. All right, so here's what we're going to do. This is a bunch of blah blah. The idea is that we're going to help you grow your list faster than ever before. We're going to use your existing content and create some amazing automations that will save you a bunch of time. You got to trust me on this, because you're thinking, well, I don't want to send canned stuff, but your subscribers will love it. I'll show you how. And I'm going to tell you how to share the new stuff in the way that I love, and that seems to work well for my clients. So about the technical stuff, there are many different email platforms. There's lots of them, and all of y'all are on different ones. You told me. I know that you're on some of these right here, and maybe I didn't even list yours. The good news here is that the techniques I'm going to share with you will work on most of your email software platforms. Bravo. Isn't that exciting? I personally have a recommendation just because I love it and I've used it for the last several years with great success. I had to pick one. I used to be on MailChimp. I was pulling my hair out to accomplish what I'm going to do, what I'm going to share with you. And so my recommendation is ConvertKit. Am I trying to sell you on this? No. I'm going to put this in here as an affiliate link. You do get 30 days free if you decide to try it. I used to be kind of apologetic about this, and I'm not anymore. The reason that I'm not apologetic about recommending a particular platform is because what I've found is that most people just want to get going, and they want a step-by-step on how do I get this done. So if that's you and you like the strategies I'm going to share in this session, in Email and Autopilot, remember that course, half of it is the strategy The other half is the step-by-step 1, 2, 3s of how to set it up in ConvertKit if you want. Can you do it in other platforms? Yes, most of them. Some of them you cannot, but you can do it in most of the others. I just had to pick one that worked really well for me, and for me it was the best thing for bloggers that I've found in terms of feels like WordPress kind of functionality. Plus it has all the automations that I want. Some people get overwhelmed with it, but I think that's part of my superpower, is to break it down into the 1, 2, 3s of what you need. All right, that's my rah-rah about ConvertKit. If you have any questions about platforms, do ask. I'll do my best. I have experience with almost all of them, either a little or a lot. All right. All right, I want you to meet my friend Martha. So I was over at Martha's house the other day, and we were, of course, appropriately socially distanced. And we were having a delightful conversation. And she was drinking her glass of milk and hanging out on her nondescript, non-branded laptop. And she said to me, you know, Matt, it was just like totally random. She said, Matt, I have got a hankering. I am really, really hungry for something specific. I thought I knew what it was, and I bet you do too, because she's got that glass of milk. Any ideas what it was that she wanted to eat? Come on, play along here. That's exactly right. You knew right away. She said, yeah, I'd love some keto chicken quesadillas. That sounds amazing. I was like, hey, that sounds great to me too. Here's the problem. Neither one of us knew how to make keto chicken quesadillas. So what did we do? Well, we went to this place called Google. Maybe you've heard of it. We typed it in there, keto chicken quesadilla. Presto, look at this. We got this great result. This thing called, from officially gluten-free showed up twice in the top results. It must be good. So what did we do? Well, I had Martha go ahead and click on it. It took us to a website, beautiful website, lots of great information. In fact, they had pictures of these chicken quesadillas, even had a recipe there for us to make. So we made it, we loved it. Best keto chicken quesadillas of our life. What did Martha do then? Did she tell all her friends? No. Did she bookmark that? Unfortunately not. Why? Well, she's busy. Here's what she really did. She bounced. Now, look, I've not hacked my way into officially gluten-free website to give you these numbers. I'm just guessing based off of what I've seen from many, many clients. And perhaps your bounce rates look like this too. Why is Martha bouncing? Because next time she gets hungry, what's she going to do? She's just going to go to Google again. She's going to go to Pinterest. She's going to check out a Facebook viral recipe or whatever it may be. Does she need to remember officially whatever.com it was? No, she doesn't. Why? Because she's in transaction mode. She went to Google. Google gave her, she asked Google a question. Google gave her an answer. The transaction is now complete. So what do? How do we get more subscribers? What's Martha? How do we get more Marthas to just jump onto our list? Well, it's probably obvious, right? We need an email hook. We need to get something that gets Martha to stop in her tracks and say, hey, I can solve your next problem for you. Well, some of you have email hooks. It's also referred to as a lead magnet. I'm curious to know, what are you using? Now, down in the chat, let me know what kind of things you're doing to get subscribers onto your list. Let's go back to, while you're writing that down, let's go back to Martha for a second. I'll tell you what doesn't work to get Martha onto her list, onto that website's list. Subscribe for updates. Does Martha want updates? No. Does Martha want more email in her life? Martha wants less email in her life. So why would she ever sign up for updates? And if all this traffic is coming, we have this shot to get Martha, and we're not getting her. All right. So what makes a good email hook? Well, I believe that there's a few characteristics. Number one, it should grab your target reader, the person that you can truly help. All right. Probably most important, it should solve a problem for that reader. I believe that it should arrive as soon as possible, as close to when they ask for it in their inbox. And ideally, it should showcase you as a subject matter expert. There's lots of different types of email hooks out there, and some of you have them. Let's see what you have. And some of you have taken my course before, so you know where I'm going with this, so that's awesome. Riley's got nothing. All right, Riley, blank slate for you, buddy. We're going to work on that. Free assets. Okay, so Brendan is doing a value exchange. I'm going to trade you this for your email address. Training guide, free mini course, depending on category. Excellent. Okay, that's very good. 1 to 2 quick start guides. All right, in about 1 billion old one-off printables. Okay, I feel that. Printables can work, downloadables can work, ebooks, courses, they can all work. Here's the problem with many email hooks, right? Well, problems that they can either take time and or money and or skill to create. And sometimes they just simply aren't that effective at attracting readers that ultimately become super fans. How many of you have given away a free downloadable, never to see those people again? It's like they were looking for a free something or other on Pinterest, found yours, and whew, gone. All right. Anybody feel that? Had that problem? Well, here is, and this is going to be repeat for some of you who have taken my course before or have joined me on a previous training session somewhere. I love something called a quick start guide. I want to be clear before I go too far into the quick start guide. I do all those other things as well. I'm not saying don't do them. What I'm saying is if you're stuck, if you've got nothing going on, Riley, talking to you, then this might be an answer for you, because a quick start guide is a short series of emails that invites your new readers to discover the best stuff for them. All right. An example of this is on that Disney cruise related website I was telling you about. If somebody lands on a Disney cruise piece of content like Disney cruise tips or something, what do I know about that person? That person is likely to have booked or about to book a Disney cruise. And it's probably his or her first. Otherwise, why do they need tips? So our quick start guide is called What to Expect on Your First Disney Cruise. This thing, friends, converts like crazy. This is better than, hey, learn all about Disney cruise. This is better than subscribe for all my alerts about Disney cruise. Why? Because the hook, the promise is I will solve your next problem. I have anticipated what your problem will be. And your problem is that you don't know what to expect. And I'm going to take care of that for you. All right. The glory of this, and here's a little spoiler alert. I'm going to invite our homework. At the end of this, will be to write a quick start guide, right? But the rules of this game will be, you have to use your existing content. I don't want you to go make anything new for this. You have it. You already have it all right there. And I'm going to show you how to do it. Basically, what we do is we create a theme. We create a themed guide. And over the course of 3 to 5 days in a row, we send them a different email. And each email is part of this theme, but it's, it's like a lesson in that quick start guide. And each one of these lessons brings them back to your website. The idea here is that we're just making your most valuable content available to them and just giving it to them when it makes sense in the right order. Why does this work? When people are just getting going, they want to get started quickly. All right. Do they need the entire Wikipedia? No. Do they need to buy a Rick Steves guidebook? No. They just need a couple of quick pointers in the right direction when they're getting going. And people love it when you simplify the topic for them. It makes it easy to understand, cuts through the noise, boom. That's why they dig it. And the best thing, you use your existing content, as I mentioned. But Matt, all this content's already on my blog, on my social, on my YouTube channel. Can't they just find it there? Well, sure they can. But they don't do that. You don't do that. I don't do that. Nobody does that. All right. We Google something, we land on it, and we go on our merry way. All right. So the beauty of this is that we're going to save our readers time by making it easy for them to discover your very best stuff that solves their next problem. In doing that, you're becoming, over 3 to 5 days, you go from being a Google search or a Pinterest query to a subject matter expert. It's magic. You're bringing them back to your channel or your blog over and over every time. They're starting to get familiar with your headshot, with your logo, with the other stuff that's on the website. And you're training them to open and click future emails because you're providing a ton of value. All right, so let's go through this. So solve your reader's problem by helping her make sense of something new. Essentially, it's 1 email per day for 3 to 5 days in a row. Here's what the eye chart looks like. If you need, basically the gist is that email number 1, arrives immediately on sign up. And then after that, it's, you know, 1 per day, each day after that. Would you like to see some examples? Of course you would, Kate. Let me show you. Okay, so here is from Baking a Moment. Allie has 5 secrets for baking impossibly soft cookies. It's just grabby, you know? People love cookies, apparently. Not me. Give me broccoli all day long. None of these cookie things of which you speak. So this is Jansen, friend of mine. She's been using this one for 5 years, and it continues to work for her. Her website is Everyday Reading. She teaches parents how to instill a love of reading in their kids. And so this Raising Readers hits her target very, very specifically. Paleo Running Mama has 5 secrets to paleo success. This is kind of her evergreen quick start guide. Here's a good one. Jessica from 4 Generations One Roof. It's a DIY/home decor website. 5 secrets to transform your home on any budget. All right. So our weekend warriors out there are intrigued to know how they can, I don't know, take a what are those called? A palette and transform it into a piece of decoration art. I don't know. This one worked great during the pandemic. Favorite Family Recipes did killer copycat recipes. You couldn't get out to Disneyland. You couldn't get out to Olive Garden or wherever. And so this worked great. Nami and Shen at Just One Cookbook. They're all about Japanese recipes. So doesn't this make sense? 5 secrets to Japanese cooking. Now this is a little story. I want to tell you about Ralphie. This is a few years back when we did this. She at the time had 120,000 Instagram followers, no website. I'm not even sure she has a website today, but she's closer to 400 or 500,000 followers today. Anyway, she created a very short quick start guide called Staying Safe: Why We Yell, Why It Doesn't Work, and What to Do Instead. And then she promoted it like this. She had Instagram posts back in the day when people did posts. She did stories. She told people about it. She declared it No Yell Week all week long. She talked about the No Yelling Challenge, and her friends that followed her, 120,000 of them, or whatever the algorithm was at that time, they saw this landing page. Look how complicated this landing page is. We've spent, I think, 3 minutes on this, about 3 minutes. And here are the results. Over the course of 2 weeks, she went from 0 subscribers to 20,000 subscribers with this one little thing. Now, I don't want you to think that she didn't get results after that, so I'm showing you this slide. These are, if you know anything about email marketing or email metrics or marketing metrics in general, you know these are pretty dang solid. All right. So her open rates were in the 70s. Her click rates were in the 30s and up. What does one of those emails look like? Lindsay asked. Well, Lindsay, I'm going to show you right here. So I don't know why I picked number 2. I can't remember why I picked number 2, but why yelling doesn't work. Let's be clear here. It works in the short term. 3 long-term effects of yelling, blah, 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 blah. At the end, for a video on the negative effects of yelling, click the picture. Highly produced picture, am I right? Guess where that button takes you? It takes you into an Instagram story that has been there all the time. So let's walk through that. They're on Instagram. She tells them, I have this guide. They sign up for the email sends them back to Instagram, to where she wants them to go, where they could have gone on their own, but they just didn't. And guess what they did? They loved it. They wrote her back and said, this is fantastic. So I have, by the way, on my Disney cruise, someday if I remember this, I gotta look up the, I have a Trust Pilot, and for those of you who know what Trust Pilot is, and Site Jabber. On a whim, I don't know what I was thinking. I think I was experimenting with that Google Eat formula that you know what I'm talking about. So on a whim, I just invited people after the end of my quick start guide to go rate it on Trustpilot. So I have over 100 people that have given 5 stars to my quick start guide. All right, on an email series. They're thankful. They love it, and it's content that was there all the time. All right, Let's use a fake example. I want to be super clear about this. Number one, I am not a vegan. Number two, I'm not a food blogger, so I really shouldn't be using this example. And the vegans and vegan food bloggers out there will probably hate me for it. But can you just imagine with me? Let's suspend reality for a second. Suspend disbelief. Imagine that I had this fake vegan food blog, and on that blog, I had, I don't know, content that could fit a guide like this: a quick start guide to delicious vegan meals, or eating vegan, beginner's guide to transforming your diet. We could probably imagine that on my website, I might have articles like these: 26 reasons to go vegan, 50 tasty vegan lunches, and so forth, right? So let me give you an example, a fake example of what one of these emails can look like. All right. I'm showing you a plain text version of one, but yeah, you can use pictures. That's okay. So let's dive in here. In my example, by the way, I have a couple of caveats. With email, it's your voice. It's your brand. If you follow my formula, you'll see it's kind of formulaic. Does that mean it's 100% right for you? Of course not. However, it works for most people. Here are a couple of Matt Mullinisms that I have found to be true with email. Number one, people don't read, they skim. Get to the point. We don't monetize in the inbox. We monetize elsewhere, either on the website or your sales landing page or wherever. Let's get them there. Okay, so those are kind of the driving principles about how I write emails. You have to do you, all right? So make it work for you. And I have some clients that say, no, long form stuff is still the right way for me, and that's wonderful, and it works for them. Okay, it's your voice, your brand. But if you're in absence of that, maybe this this template might work for you to at least get going. All right, first of all, in every email, I like to state the problem. What problem does your reader have? In this case, with this email, tasty lunches for vegans can be hard. It requires forethought and planning. And what can you make that's fast, inexpensive, and something you can take to work or school or wherever? It's all right, and probably a good thing, to give a short personal experience. I mean, my point here is short because people don't read, they skim, all right? This is probably even too long with this. I've even over the years, I have continued to modify this, but you get the point here. When I decided to live a true vegan lifestyle, I found that breakfast and dinner were easy. I guess at that time, I'm usually at home and more control of my environment, but lunch, that was a different story. Then you can let them know that you have the solution. Oh, you're here to save them. You're put on your cape, superhero. They need you. I've made a comprehensive list of tasty, quick, and easy to prepare vegan lunches that I know you'll love. Now, I want you to be smart about where you send them. Okay, this says only link to the article or articles that you want them to click. All right. Why am I making a point of this? Because in the past, many newsletters are chock full of links to everywhere. I used to do this in the hopes that I would find something that was clickable that would take them to something of mine. But I have found over the years that the more targeted you get them and give them fewer things to distract their attention, the better your results will be. So here's an example. Read 50 tasty vegan lunches now. Now, of course, this is a Google Doc example. If we're doing this in an email platform, you get to use a button, right? Or if you want, you can use a big old image or link like this. And it's also okay to tease your next email. Here's what's coming up in the series, all right? See you tomorrow when I'll share with you 25 tasty vegan lunches or recipes that are designed for weight loss. All right, have I lost anybody so far? I've been trying hard. So far, okay, this group. Oh, subject lines. We're gonna talk about, Riley, that validates me, thank you. That makes me feel good, okay. Write a great subject line. We're going to spend more time on this later, but maybe jot this down if you need a subject line formula. I wish I could say I came up with this. I did not. I learned this, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago from somebody at some seminar that I went to. Curiosity plus self-interest. Put that as a sticky note right here on your monitor or something until it's just ingrained in your head. What do I mean by that? Let's say that you wrote a recipe. You created a new pineapple coleslaw recipe. When was the last time anybody wanted pineapple coleslaw? So you send an email, 7 in the morning, says, pineapple coleslaw recipe. How many people are going to be jazzed about that? Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this group is just big time pineapple coleslaw lovers. For me, though, a better subject line might be the side dish that everybody loves. What I'm taking to every summer potluck. Curiosity plus self-interest. My self-interest is everybody loves it and it's a side dish. And the curiosity is, well, what the heck is it? All right. If you can figure that out, your open rates will go up. This is a muscle that you need to flex. Now, in absence of that, sometimes you've already put that into your built that into perhaps a what am I saying? The title of your article or your post. And so something like lesson number 1, 50 tasty vegan lunches is a good fallback. But you can do better than that. You can do better than that. All right, let me show you a real life example of one, and then we're going to get to yours. I want you to be thinking about what type of quick start guide you could make. Here we have from Sally's Baking Addiction. By the way, I often get asked, who does email well? Sally does. So if you're ever curious and you want to go sign up for somebody who does email well, sallysbakingaddiction.com, go sign up. How to bake the perfect chocolate chip cookie. Well, remember what I said about the subject line? The second subject line formula that works every time is just use the word chocolate chip cookie. That always gets opened. That will always work. How to bake the perfect chocolate chip cookie. I have that curiosity. My self-interest is to have the perfect chocolate chip cookie. Let's break this down though. It's day 3 of Sally's Secrets, Baking Made Easy. A couple things I like here. I like that she tells me which day it is. I like that she's given this a brand, a title. She's named this thing, all right? I know I'm part of a thing, that it's not gonna go on forever. It also ties me back to what I signed up for through either a form or a pop-up or whatever, right? So I am mentally connected here. Here's the problem with most chocolate chip cookie recipes on the internet. They overspread. She goes, that's just real straight up. Here's the problem. By the way, look at how skimmable this email is. It's broken down with emojis and subheaders. When I write emails, by the way, I very seldom have a paragraph that is more than 1 sentence. Now she's got one here, but very seldom. Don't tell my 7th grade English teacher. Mrs. Meek would not be happy with me with the way that I write emails. Today, I'm sharing the most popular cookie recipe on my site. Seriously, over 700 reviews. These chocolate chip delights are super soft, thick, chewy, and easy to make. All right, you got 2 sentences there. Which of those actually packs a punch and which is fluffy marketing? Well, I hope you said the first one packs a punch. The second one is something anybody could say and probably would say. And so what do you and I do? We tune that out. We discount that. But number 1 has social proof in it. Where am I going with this? Use social proof. You have it. Most reviewed, page views, went viral, my mother's favorite. I make these every week. That is social proof. Been pinned over 5 billion times, whatever it may be, use it. Okay, let's talk about images for a second. Sally has, and she changes all the time. So right now, I think she's even got a little bit bigger image, but the point was here, you don't have to have magazine quality images in email. Why? And by the way, Sally has magazine worthy images. They're consuming it on this. So a small image will work, 400, 500 pixels wide. I prefer a horizontal or landscape instead of vertical or portrait. You can still do vertical or portrait if you want, but or a square. Square works great here. Remember, if I have to scroll too far, this decrepit old thumb of mine, you heard how old my kids are. I'm old. So it'll fall off if I have to scroll too far. Now look at this brag right here. I even published this cookie recipe in my best-selling cookbook. That's a humble brag. Notice what Sally is not doing. Nowhere in this series will you get, hi, my name is Sally. Thank you for signing up for my website. And how to use a website, perhaps? Well, I have a lot of different categories. And about me, I have been blogging for over 500 years. I enjoy quiet walks on the beach, and I have a turtle named Bob, right? She doesn't do any of that, but she does give you an introduction to her best-selling cookbook, a little humble brag there, and then 5 secrets to chocolate chip cookie perfection, You'll learn these 5 secrets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You ready to try it? Let's go. All right. She tells you the what, but not the how. I probably spent too much time on that, but I wanted you to see, and I've got more examples here. I'll show you if you want. There's lots of different ways you can write emails. Even this might be too long. I have, any of you familiar with Neil Patel? Some of you are. If you ever got an email from him, his emails do a few things. They capture the curiosity. He always teases you. And they're about the length of a tweet. They're plain text, and they get me almost every time. So whether you agree with him or not on what he actually is preaching and teaching, his emails work. All right. So let's pause for a second. Let's talk about you. I hope that you've come up with a quick start guide idea or 2. Or if you're stuck, you are in luck today because I'm giving away free quick start guide ideas. I'm just giving them away. So I want to help you if you are stuck. And some of you have niches that are or businesses that are a little bit tricky and don't necessarily fall into this type of situation. We'll talk about those. All right. We'll see if what we can come up with together. Before I do that, some of you are asking, I have multiple audiences that I serve. What should I do? I'm inviting you today to just pick one. Where am I going with this? Well, next week on Monday, I'm going to go deep into segmentation. Because here's this not so secret. Your existing traffic is your best source of list growth. What do I mean by that? That person landing on a Disney cruise tips page, has something different on her mind than somebody's landing on a, I don't know, Frozen coloring page. Those are 2 different people on the same blog. I can't take the Disney cruise thing and just hope that works for the Frozen coloring page person. And that person is not necessarily going to, you see where I'm going? So we create, and somebody's already doing it here. I can't remember who it was, but somebody is doing that where they are creating different quick start guides per category. For now, pick one. Here's the good news. You can't mess this up. It's so basic, so simple. We can throw it away if it stinks. Our time commitment is going to be very, very small to bang one of these out if you do it my way. All right. So we're going to go fast break stuff. Pick your highest volume traffic. If you do lifestyle and decor and Cricut crafts and you get the most traffic right now to Cricut, create a quick start guide for Cricut. All right. Hope that answers some of that for some of you. All right. Let's hear it. Let's hear from you down in the chat. Let me know who's come up with, as we've been talking, come up with a new quick start guide idea. Let's hear what you've got. And if you are stuck, I would also like to know that too, because I want to have you unmute and we'll talk. Anybody stuck? While you're thinking or being brave, a couple of testimonials here. I got this, I can't remember when I dropped this one in here. Last summer, I had 5,000 subscribers, and thanks to you, I have now 55,000. And it's so amazing that I was able to grow so much in 1 year. Okay. How about this one? I put this one in, I think this was in February, but oh no, this is a different one. October. She emailed me 1 day after putting up her quick start guide. I'm at 209 subscribers as of this morning, which is awesome since yesterday was a busy day for so many, with it being Halloween. All right, we can do this. All right, let's see. Kate's going to do 5 plant-based Mexican recipes. Okay, Kate, I assume that you've got vegetarians that come to your vegetarian recipes. The trick for you, I don't know, I'm totally guessing here. One thing to consider is, are they coming because it's vegetarian, or did you happen to land on enchiladas and you rank well for that? You see the difference? It's a slight nuance difference. You may be thinking you're serving vegetarians and they're coming for a different thing. You want to make sure that those match up as best you can. Jess, we'll come to you in just a second. Riley, quick start guide to help parents teach their kids about money. Okay, Riley, let's talk about that. Brenda, I'm going to help you think through ideas live if you want. And then I realized that the content in my free ebook could be broken down into, okay, awesome, I love it. Okay, Brendan has an ebook. The content is already there. Maybe the ebook has been working well as a lead magnet for some of you. All right, great. Why? Because the ebook purports to solve a problem, but who's really reading ebooks these days? And on top of that, how do you continue to monetize? If you could take the same content that's in that ebook and turn it into a 5-day series, now you have an excuse to send them 5 emails in a row to bring them back to your website where they're getting used to your content on the website. Okay, love it. All right, I want to talk, Kate. Let's talk. I want to hammer this point and just use you as an example real quick. So go ahead and unmute if you want. So, what are some of your most highly trafficked recipes? What's bringing traffic in right now?
So I have the most highly trafficked recipes in general are authentic Mexican recipes that happen to be plant-based. So
give me one example.
So I have a chamoy sauce, which is very popular. It's like a sauce you put on fruit. I have how to doctor a can of black beans is super popular.
Okay, let's pause right there. On both of those aren't necessarily, and the point that I'm making here is if you think about what the Google search that brings people in for both of those are the pins, my guess is that neither one of those are 100% directly tied to vegetarianism or
Right.
plant-based. It could be that I just so happen to have this, I have beans, I'm going to be making beans and I want to doctor it up. Okay, now I'm not saying that you shouldn't go with what you were talking about, but it's thinking through that your existing traffic, what are they looking for? Because sometimes we'll have mismatches where we'll put out something like plant-based, thinking that that's, and you may want to do it anyway, by the way, because that may be who you want to serve. But your list growth could happen faster, perhaps, if it was a little bit less, if it was just more about 5 secrets to, great Mexican cooking, and then it happened to be plant-based. I'm not saying to do that. I'm just giving you
I guess the 2 thoughts that I was thinking, and you can tell me what your thoughts are, is so I have a Mexican plant-based cookbook, so I could use that,
Yeah, right. You can upsell them into that.
Upsell that.
Yeah.
And I like your idea of just making it more broad by just saying Mexican recipes, because I have lots of Mexican recipes on my site that aren't plant-based. I feel every time that I post something plant-based, it always does well. So even if it's a new recipe, it always seems to do better than if it's not. That's just my thinking. And that's why I went in that direction, but I'm totally fine doing something more general, just Mexican cooking.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because what we have just talked about, I hope everybody's listening to, that's the decision-making process. I'm not, I don't have an answer. If you and I were working on that, Kate, we would spend more time and kind of break it down, and we decide, oh, do we want to test this? Do we want to, and the opportunity may be in that you want to be more of a plant-based expert. So you're okay with a smaller list, but more targeted list. And that's a strategy. So, but that is the thought process. Your existing traffic right now, you're getting somebody who's Googling Disney cruise tips. What do you know about that person? You have to think that through. And then what do you have that you can offer them? Okay. So thank you for letting me walk through that. I don't have an answer per se, but I think that the way you're thinking about it is the right way to do it. Jess, you want to unmute? Tell me about your level of stuckness.
Well, because I took your course or did this a couple of years ago, I provide free crochet patterns and tutorials, and I did a quick start guide then that was like, I did 2, how to crochet your first sweater. A lot of my content that does well is like easy crochet garments. And then I did one about how to use the yarn in your stash, which is kind of like your yarn pantry, how to use what you have to crochet your next project. So that was really relevant when people were at home, and that has done well because it was kind of teaching you like, here's how you don't go out and buy new yarn and make cool stuff.
Right.
But given that I've done those 2 things, I am a little stuck at how I create something that is general enough to apply to like the main crocheters who come, without it being some sort of like education about a part of crocheting that I don't actually have some like.
I think I get it. And it sounded like those are working well for those people that want those things, which is, by the way, that's the glory of that. And now you have those people that have gone through it, and the yarn lovers, their problems were
Yeah.
solved and you're now a yarn expert for them, and plus all the other stuff that you've been giving them. That's great. Same with me
Yeah.
with the Disney cruise stuff. You'd be able to serve them up. But now you're looking at how do I continue to grow the list and get more general or more, general interest stuff in there. Is that a fair?
Not well, general interest specifically to crochet, but like I would like to make another quick start guide because I'm doing this with you again, and I'm sure there's a way to. I have 2 more years of content. I'm sure there's a way to just refine my process a little and make another one.
Okay, so here's
That's
how I would
probably-
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's how I would think about it. I won't be able to solve it for you, but let me give you my brain dump here.
Yeah.
I would be looking at what problem can you solve for most people and think about the outcome. With crochet, for example, this happens with crafts a lot, is that I want to craft more. I love it when I do it. It feels great. I'm interested in it. I just never do it. I don't have time. I don't pick it up because it's too elaborate, or I never quite got past level 1, that sort of stuff. If you talk about the outcomes, and then you even tied it to seasonality. So 5 summer crochet projects you can make in 5 minutes. Obviously that's silly because who's a super fast crocheter? I don't know, however long it takes, but 5 beginner crochet projects that work every time. 5 foolproof X for the beginner crochet, 5 or for the advanced crochet, or just in general, 5 seasonality works great. And then you flip it to fall, you flip it to Christmas or holidays, whatever you're doing, you flip it to the winter or Easter.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And you can use that same kind of meme over and over again as a different type of thing. There's other things in there too, other outcomes. It might be saving money. It might be so it's skill level, time it takes, what tools. Maybe I don't know how to use the crochet needles. 5 new crochet needle techniques for 2022. Boom, there you've got it.
Yeah, okay. That gives me some great ideas. Thank you.
Okay, cool. All right. Anybody else stuck? I'm just refresh me down in the chat just because I got a little lost here in my chat. Kate asks, how often should you change your quick start guides? Well, my hope for you, don't worry about that just yet. If you're just getting started with this, this principle applies at all levels. Generally speaking, which is what we're talking about right now, you got people coming to your website, subscribe for updates. A general quick start guide will do better for that. When you get into the Disney Cruise segment, get my Disney Cruise quick start guide. That does better for that. So what Jess did with her yarn people, she can continue to use that yarn thing forever, as long as it's still relevant. The audience that it serves may be smaller over time because the pandemic is no longer what it was, but it's still super useful for those people. Does that make sense? Is this one guide popping up on your website overall, or different guides or sections? Great question, Katie. We'll talk about pop-ups and opt-in forms and that sort of stuff exactly 1 week from now. But the general, it's whatever you're comfortable with. But yeah, today's technology allows you to show a different form or a different opt-in depending on where they're landing. You can do it embedded. You can do it as pop-up. You can do it as those sliders, swoopy things. I think that's the technical term for them, the swoopies. And so, yeah, there's lots of different ways that you can do that. Sorry, I'm just going through the questions here. Our sign up already had a hook of a product giveaway. It's the thing that drives the success we have. Going to change the messaging to something similar to the why we yell, posing a question and teasing an answer. All right, Lewis, if you need any help brainstorming on that, let me know if you're still into that. Tony says 5 top annual flowers to attract monarchs to your butterfly garden. All right, Tony, sounds like you've got, were you on mute real quick? And one guy popping up.
There we go.
There you are. So what's your website?
It's called Monarch Butterfly Garden. I'm pretty niche specific, probably compared to most people here.
That actually, for these purposes, can be really, really helpful. Your overall, you're not going to get the huge numbers like a general food blogger is, but your conversion rate should be greater than what they have going on. So why do people land on, is it getting started with a Monarch Butterfly Garden? What's the biggest thing?
Part of it, like it's starting. I found like people contact me from all over the US, even outside the US. So I've thought that maybe an annual flower would be a good way to bring in the most people, because a lot of stuff that you can plant depends on the region that you're planting it in.
Okay. So what are your number one traffic drivers?
Like my number one articles, you mean?
Yeah,
Like,
what is somebody Googling, or how are they finding you?
so like, yeah, how to start a monarch butterfly garden.
Let me pause you real quick. Do you
Okay.
have content on how to start a monarch?
Yeah, yes.
Do you have it broken down? Could you give me 5 steps to instant success? Or very quick success?
Yeah, yep. I could do that from definitely from taking information from the blog post. Yep.
So I'm wondering, because that, let's say it doesn't work. It may not work, but it could be, if you make this one, it could be an evergreen asset, lead magnet that you could come back to or have running all the time in different areas of your website or promote in different ways. If that's what people are already coming there for. And that feels to me like your subject matter expertise just kind of wraps it up for me. Let me give you the 5 most important thing. I know you're here on the blog. I know you're consuming this content. Let me give you the 5 steps to having the world's greatest monarch garden. Would that
Okay.
work?
That sounds just too simple. Okay. I want it to be more difficult than that.
We can do that. We can do difficult. But I think that we often overthink this a little bit, because you got to remember, you're consuming this content so much. I do the same thing. We're living this, we're facing it.
Yeah.
And what's new to us is the most important thing. But the reality is that, dude, they've never been on a Disney cruise before, you know, and stuff that I started with. Oh, you know, my first experiences, let me share those. Those tend to be the easiest and helpful for where they are in that stage. Anyway, that's just a thought for you. Hope that helps. Let me pause for just a second, because it's straight up top of the hour and we got to get out of here. I said I'd keep this to an hour. I will stick around for as long as you have questions. I will answer. I will help you go through your thought process for your quick start guide. Before I continue on, how do you set this up? You might be wondering. If you are still confused about the technical side, because we talked about the technique, I do have a recommendation, and I already made it to you earlier. It was ConvertKit. So you do get 30 days free if you try that out in the email and autopilot course. This is why I do this. It's because somebody out there is going, I got a gazillion other things going on. I don't know how to figure out how to do this in XYZ platform. I've been hating my platform and I'm interested. I'm okay switching. If that's you, it's not everybody. It may be only one of you. Then you can go at least try it out. You can follow my steps in the email and autopilot course. And boom, 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 you can have this done in an hour, all right? And you can have this up and running, and at least the beginnings of it, okay? So if that's you, go make it happen. So a couple quick things. Your homework is write your quick start guide. What I'm saying is select 3 to 5 articles or theme, you know, you can lump together into a theme like Tony's doing with the monarch butterflies, create a catchy title, write your emails in a Google Doc and share those in the Facebook group. Turn on the sharing so that you can see them. Riley promises to read every single one of them and give you wonderful feedback. That's the kind of guy he is. His mother was right when I was talking to her about him. Just a gem. So go check that out. And then also feel free to give other people feedback. It really does help. Now you don't want to just keep hearing from Matt Mullen. You want to hear from everybody. If you are in the ConvertKit business, as I was describing, then go to my email and autopilot lesson, how to set this up, okay? Then just follow steps. Last but not least, I don't know why I'm, oh my gosh, what happened here? Started a loom. Let's kill that. All right, here, if you have not yet done so, go grab the course, emailandautopilot.com. With that code, gives you 100% free. All right. If you are still stuck, I want to hear from you. I want to help you do that. If you got to get out of here, we'll see you on Wednesday, where we will go over your quick start guides. I'll be happy to review yours and give you my 2 cents feedback on how to make them tighter, more effective. It's just stuff that I've learned over time. Okay, so let's do this. If you got to get out of here, we'll see you. Questions that we had here. Brendan, thoughts on quick start guides to be promoted as a pop-up on your site with the entry form, name and email on the pop-up, or just putting a button on the pop-up that goes to a landing page to sign up? What converts best? What you're asking for there, I think, Brendan, is what provides the what's a higher converting thing? Do you just have the fields in the pop-up or a button that leads them to a landing page? The fields in the pop-up has generally a higher conversion because it's one less step. But you can still do the other, and I don't have studies or data on that, but just generally, the friction, the more steps you add, the more friction you're adding to the sign up process. It's just more reasons for something technical to happen, for the dog to get sick in the corner, for them to remember they were watching something on Hulu. I don't know. Katie, want to unmute?
Yeah, I want to make sure I'm not like losing the basic thread here, but we are talking about a pop-up that's capturing an email and a name. That's how people are joining this email.
It could be a pop-up. Pop-ups work great, and some people hate pop-ups, and we'll talk about pop-up love and hate and that sort of thing. But yeah, any form, whether it's a pop-up.
So where am I collecting? Where am I engaging people? Where are they starting this conversation with me? This 5 set of emails that they're going to get?
So it could be an embedded form. It could be on the sidebar. You have a form. It could be up top. Yeah, let me show you some
Roger.
examples.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Awesome.
Let me share my screen again. Here's a very simple example. Natasha's Kitchen. This is not a pop-up, but you can see that she is dedicating real estate to her 5 secrets to be a better cook right here. And then if you get into her corn dogs or any other recipe, you'll see that it's up top here. She does a pop-up as well. She has this here. She has not changed this in years. As much as I've talked to her about it, she's like, yeah, this one's rolling, so it's working good. And it looks like she's got some issue with her pop-up she needs to fix. But you can see, that took a minute, didn't it? So there you go. Lots of different ways you can do it. You can do like with the case of where did that go? Where'd my example? Did I close it? I must have closed it. But remember with the Ralphie Jacobs with her staying safe, that was just a landing page that ConvertKit provided. So she took this URL and dropped it into her Instagram story, and there was a link. You click on it and you fill it out. Yeah, good. That's a good question. Lots of different ways we can do it. It depends on, and we'll spend time on how to devote real estate, and who's doing it well, and other things. Anybody else stuck? Again, I've just got so many quick start guide ideas just rattling around in here. Tony's was too easy, so I got all these other ones. I was going like, how to collect monarch butterfly milk. That's another one that you possibly could use, Tony, in the future. I'm throwing them out. Riley, what you got?
Well, real quick, Tony, on the monarch butterfly thing, we're actually going down to Monterey, California in a couple of weeks. Is this the big time for them, or is it in like the fall, winter? Oh,
yeah, I was gonna say, the fall, like California. Oh no, so you're going down to, are you in California or going down to Mexico?
No, we're in San Francisco and we're going to Monterey, California. It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
away.
so yeah, it's definitely later for California. There's not as many in California for the West Coast migrations. So I guess last year was better, but yeah, the numbers usually aren't as big in California as they are in Mexico.
Yeah.
But you could get lucky, you never know.
Let's hope. My son would absolutely die if we could go see monarch butterflies. He's got some book where he goes crazy over them.
I think you're missing it though, Riley. I think what you need to be doing is just making your own monarch butterfly garden.
It's funny. We have a spot in our backyard that my wife is trying to figure out what we're going to do. And I'm like, man, maybe I'll sign up for that quick start guide, build a monarch garden.
Riley gets nothing else out of this session. His backyard will never be the same.
Yeah, my wife will definitely support me taking this course. That's what we end up doing. So my question is, I guess I said I didn't have a hook. My hook is, so my site is about, it's got a couple of different audiences, but the one that I'm really focused on right now is teens and kids and learning about money for the first time. So trying to give helpful resources to parents, but also to teens. Like some of my articles are addressing directly to parents, like how to open a bank account for a minor. I can't imagine a teenager is really like looking that article up, but I can imagine parents are definitely looking that up. But then I also have articles about, things to save up for as a teen, or here are money apps for teens, different things like that. So 2 different audiences caring about the same topic. So right now, the quick start guide that I've got, it's only like 3 or 4 emails. It's an active I'm trying to build it out to be like 10 to 15 to make it like some free email course. But on all of my signups, I give the ability for people to tag themselves as either a parent or a teen. So when they're going through, I'll know who's who.
Yeah.
But the emails themselves, I really don't want to get them like asynchronous, because I want them to get the same emails, but they are also like, I feel like the messaging can kind of be mixed sometimes, where I want to talk to both audiences simultaneously. I don't know if that's a good idea, because like the first email, what I do is I say, hey, if you're a teen and you want to get your parent started so you can go through this whole course together, here's the landing page for you. And then vice versa, for if you're a parent, you want your teen to join so you can go like have these conversations. I don't know how complex that is, if it's way too much for us to try to handle through email.
What's your
And I
website?
just, youngandtheinvested.com. So if you go to the homepage, you should see just below the like landing image, you should see the not optimized. I have a developer working on that right now, but
I used
that's
to
more
watch
or
your
less.
soap opera during
Yeah, I know,
when I was
right?
at college. It was very compelling.
Yes, indeed.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's not optimized. That it will eventually span the whole thing there, but it's
Okay, but
right
that's
up
the
there.
thing.
Up there at the top. Yeah, right here. That's my ConvertKit form.
Okay. Young and the invested.
Yeah, it
For
looks
the
much
purposes
better.
of this discussion, Riley,
Mhm.
I want to, because the answer is all those things you said are absolutely possible. Are you happy with your current sign up rate?
Well, I only put this up like a week and a half ago. Before that, I didn't even bother collecting
Didn't have anything.
emails.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So
my
don't know.
suggestion is you take a bet. You make a bet on which audience you can best serve for now. And
Okay.
you don't worry about the other one. And the reason for that is you can worry about the other one whenever you want. But if we can make this work for the parents, or we can make this work for the teen, you have, number one, it narrows your focus. It opens up new opportunities because you're going to be now thinking more about that teen or about that parent and what content to create, either for a newsletter or for the website or whatever channel you do. So my suggestion, because you're not giving up on the other, you're just going to be super duper helpful to one audience to start with. Learn the
Okay.
technique and the technology, and then you'll be able to rinse and repeat this for teens, for grandparents that want to open 529 plans, for
Yeah, right.
anybody that you can think of, for savant little babies that are 8 months old. I don't think that's a very big audience, but you could serve them.
Yeah, right now it's probably, I mean, I've only got 40 or so subscribers, but it's probably, I mean, it's majority parents. I would say that at least based upon the tags that they're selecting, it's probably
Throw that out for a second.
70%.
I'm gonna be
parents.
I'm gonna be a jerk on purpose. I want you to throw that away, not throw them away. They're wonderful. Keep them on the list. The only thing that really matters to me, if I was digging in here, if you hired me, I would ask for your Google Analytics. I would look into you on SEMrush. I would dive into where your traffic is coming right now. And then I would make a guess about who that person is. Is that a parent? So if you have like your number, like some of my clients, they'll have like one post that is 20% of all their page views. I'm going right at that.
Yeah.
That right there is my best source of list growth, because that person, I know I can go target them. So then going back to the Disney cruise example, I'm making a gamble, and it's an educated guess that that person is never been on a Disney cruise before, and is likely booked. And so what to expect, or is really thinking about it hard. What to expect on your first Disney cruise works well for that person. So
that's the problem, is a lot of the traffic on that audience being, I call it teen money, which is both parents and teens themselves. I have tons of content on that, and it's pretty split. I would say, I would imagine like how to invest as a teenager or how to invest as a minor is a teen that's Googling that.
Yep.
So that content speaks directly to teens. I also have content that speaks directly to parents, like how to help your kids select a bank account or whatever.
Then pick one.
But it's very split. So the point is like, then do I just remove, if I'm wanting to focus on the parents at this point, do I just remove, it's only on maybe 6 or 7 articles as it is, because I'm rolling it out. do I just remove it from the teen focused ones for now and really only do the parents, like articles with parents as the main audience?
So what I'd be doing is I'd be picking one, and this would be my pop-up and my forms and all that. And it's catered to with messaging to parents, how to help your teen, get smart with money. 5 secrets that every parent needs to know to teach their kids about money. That's too long, but you get the gist of it.
Yeah.
And then every email would be attached to those. They would be focused on delivering that. Now, if you want in there, and there's a side, down at the bottom, it says PS. If you're a teen and you want XYZ, click here. That's totally fine with that. But I'm just saying, pick one, pick the audience that you can serve for right now, bang these out. Don't sweat the other small stuff. Like literally that will come, it will reveal itself in the process. But by focusing on one audience, number one, the worst that'll happen is that you'll find out that that's not your audience. And that you did some work that, okay, maybe this gets shown up to somewhere else in some other place. And by the way, what I'm hoping for you is that you'll pick articles that you already have so that your emails are really super duper short. Hi, Matt. Welcome to 5 secrets to helping your teen get smart with money. The first problem that teens need to learn about is credit is scary. Okay. Teens are being targeted left and right with credit. Here's my article on how to teach your teen about credit. That's the email.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. The first one I have, I just saw, it's definitely on the longer side. It's like 400 words, but
well,
it still gets like a great open rate and great click-through rate. So, I mean, it's like in the 60s or 70s on the open rate, and the click-through rate is like in the 20s or 30s.
Your audience is going to open and click. They're going to love it. So I think that's fantastic. I'm not saying change that. Maybe all I'm saying is maybe focus on the hook. Maybe just focus on the hook about parents. Is that the right thing? I haven't seen what you've got. So I'm just giving you general ballpark, spitballing here. But my focus for you is be about the growth first, getting them on there, and then you'll figure out the exact messaging, whether parents or teens. Do I do a bifurcated message? That was my big word for the day. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm getting at.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds great. Well, thank you for that insight.
If you target the parent with a core hook message, you can also include content to and your PS. Yep, Katie, I believe in that too. You can do whatever you want in there, and you can test and try and experiment and see, does that resonate? Does that work? And a lot of this, I will say this, I am sometimes right, seldom in doubt, is how my wife refers to me, I think. That's great. I've launched many a quick start guide after going through some research and using some what I thought was common sense and gone, that didn't perform the way that I thought. Yeah. I've got one right now. I have a dessert focused baking website where she specializes on pies, and she's got a lot of traffic to pies. And we created a quick start guide for pies. I'm meeting with her this afternoon to talk about why it's not working so well. And my suspicion on that is that while the traffic said pies, the human behavior is, how often are you actually baking a pie? It's not that often. So the people who really they're really into it. They're baking the pie, they're making the thing, but do they really need 5 secrets to pie baking success? That's my gut. I don't know if that's right. So we're gonna retrench and look at that again. Will we use the pies on the pie section? Probably. Will we come up with, summer baking desserts that you can make in 30 minutes or less, or something like that caters to somebody who just loves to bake and wants more ideas? I think that might work better. My point is, we launch, we learn, go fast, break stuff. It's inexpensive to do with email. It costs you nothing. And we can learn a lot. So don't give up on that. Anyway, hope that helped a little bit.
It did, thanks. All
right, anybody else? Questions? Now we're just looking at each other awkwardly. Okay, this is weird. All right. Well, cool. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sticking around. If you need any help, let me know. Drop it into the Facebook group. I'm happy to help out however I can. And do not get stuck. Do not get stuck. I can help. We'll see you on Wednesday. Take care, everybody.